mental strength is only needed when we're imbalanced in our body, mind and consciousness. What does that mean? So, for instance, imagine there's a tray that has some glasses on and the tray is tilted, so it's not balanced as it would be like this, but it's tilted. So what happens is the glasses, they slip down all the time. So what we do in tennis is, because we have imagined the tray is the body, mind and consciousness of ourselves, it's not balanced, so it's tilted. That means all the glasses, which stand for all the problems that we encounter on the court, so for instance anger, frustration, nervousness and so on. So what we try to do is, since they're all slipping down and really not working, is we find ways and tools to overcome those problems. So for instance, we have negative thoughts, so we try to have positive thoughts. We do breathing exercises because we're nervous. And so on, right? So many books have been written about how to cope with all the situations. However, so when the body, mind and consciousness are tilted, like here, we need tools or aid to overcome those weaknesses, right? They're all weaknesses. But what's happening is we are working on the symptoms and not on the cause, right? If you see this tray, if you saw it as clear as you can see now, the tray on the tennis court, what's happening, you would of course say, well, the solution is, why don't you just bring back the tray to balance and everything would be solved. You don't have to come up with all these other things. However, we don't see that. We don't see that the tray is tilted, so we have to come up with solutions. We have pictures and we build rituals and we go to mental coaches and all this kind of stuff, right? So if someone comes up to you and say, yeah, just bring the tray back to balance and everything is fine. So the question is, how? Nobody tells us how we can do that, because in the first place we're not even aware that we're not balanced in the mind, in the body and in the consciousness. So how can we manage to do that? And it's really working not on something to find tools for problems that solve the symptoms, but it's really fundamental work on our body, mind and consciousness. So it's really down to the question of who we really are, how does our body function, how does our mind function, and what is consciousness. So by exploring those areas, we will be able to become balanced in critical points like thoughts, emotions, how can I stay in the flow more and more, and so on and so on. So it's really about seeing who we are and how we function and using that on the court to play the best tennis you can, to enjoy the game, to enjoy the moment, and just having a blast out there, and at the same time being able to play the best you can, to enjoy the game with the people around, and so on and so on. So for me, when you think about mental strength, you only need mental strength when the tray is tilted, as we saw before. When it's balanced, I wouldn't call it mental strength anymore, but it's just a synchronization of who you are and bringing that back to balance. And you'll see, there's players out there, who partly already do that, and they're the ones who have success and they're the ones who enjoy the game. It's not a fun game if you're frustrated and nervous and are fearful. There's so many also children or young players that don't like to play tournaments and so on. But even in the top 10 in the world, in the top 20, top 100, you have many players who are non-stop busy working on the classes that slip down non-stop. Maybe they have found a good way to handle it, but you still see many weaknesses in them as well. So, and nobody tells us about this. So in this video series we will talk about that more, and you will see tennis is one of the most amazing sports, and we will explore and see how for you as well you can explore how amazing it is. Thank you.